Hi there, this is Emily Windsor Craig, and this video I'm doing for my friends on social media who, like myself, are crones who live either in a neighborhood where they have access to everything or in a place where what you need is accessible, but you don't have anybody underfoot. Not having anybody underfoot is a two-sided coin, a two-sided blessing. You don't have anybody dictating to you, but neither do you have anyone to help you out unless you pay them. And so many of my Facebook friends, for instance, have known me for years. I've been on Facebook for 11 years now, and we have kept each other company for a long time. And so I thought I would share how it is for me being essentially alone in a world that is facing chaos and a reset without becoming overly anxious, without panic attacks, just kind of taking it day to day. Because what we realize is that in this life, there is nobody who gets out of here in an intact meat suit in any case. We all have to face passing on. And so let's do it with some dignity. You know, in the past, in the remote past, the last 500 years, widows and single spinsters are held at a distance. They're viewed with suspicion because they are more than likely to object or protest or question the established order. As we know, the witch trials executed a lot of innocent women on the charge that they were witches simply because they were doing everything they could to cope and survive. And today's not much different, okay? Older single women are not the most popular people in the neighborhood, right? In a time of war, revolution, or reset, being a single woman can be scary, just as walking into a forest in a dim, sunlit afternoon or wading too far into the ocean on the beach can be a little scary. It's an experience of anticipation, knowing that there are events coming at us that we have no power to overwhelm or overcome or save ourselves from. And that's one of the benefits of living a human life, is that we are not confined to just thinking our thoughts. We actually have experiences that have meaning. Head trippers like to get involved in their thinking about this and that ideology and this and that theory and lemma and hypothesis and overthinking. But if we just stay with physical and tactile and sensible and reasonable, we are a good companion for ourselves in this time of uncertainty. Traditional societies made it very, very difficult for singleton women to survive unless they were in community. But in today's modern society, with everything sort of close at hand as it is now, I can call and order even my groceries from anywhere. I order everything online and it gets delivered, and so I don't have to go out too often and wear one of those mask things because I don't want to be, quote, infected by a hoax and a scam that, if you know the history of the viruses that have been set against us since 1981, when HIV was developed, and then there was the swine flu and the H1N1 and the SARS and the Ebola, one virus after another has been set against us with vaccines that have been provided for the people who were willing to take the vaccines, all right, it's been a whole drama and a whole profit center for Big Pharma to play this game with us with diseases and vaccines. And it's a game that I choose not to play and that I do not consent to. Now, there's some practices living in the suburbs where everything is accessible, but as we know, we live in an excessively consumerist society. And often what we wish or want or prefer isn't available to us, all right? So we find that there are certain parts of our normal day that we stock up on. In my case, all right, I have been in this solitary situation for a while, but my hopes and dreams of a future is that of being social. And so what I have stocked up on are a few nice pieces of apparel that I plan to wear in my future in which I will be more social. Okay, I've kind of stocked up on a few nice pieces to wear when the emergency is over, when it's through, when we can all breathe a sigh of relief about that. I'm also liquidating the stuff that I don't use anymore. I'm finding places to give it to people, to have charities come and relieve me of stuff that they can make a buck on, okay, or give it to the local garage sale or flea market, because there still is the seed money law of tenfold return. What you give, you get back. And if you don't give anything, you don't get anything back. So you have to give. You give to the charities, you give to the homeless guy on the street, you give where you can what will enable someone else to cope and get through, okay? There have been times when I've offered my home as a sanctuary to someone who needed a place to sleep or a free meal. And that's part of the seed money, the law of 10 of returning, giving what you hope to receive. Giving what you hope to receive is really the golden rule put to work. All right, so we're giving away and the law of tenfold return. Next, expectations. We expect in this time of staged turmoil, hoaxes, disinfo, misinfo, and political manipulations, we expect people to be upset, to be anxious, to be fearful. And so we allow people to be upset. We allow them to use their sarcasm. We allow them to use their profanity and their curses and their intense passions because they have something they have to express to get it out of their body, all right? Just as one of the reasons I do videos is the need to express what is going on and how it feels and get the thoughts that are keeping me busy out of my body and into a physical reality. It's actually health keeping for a person to talk, to speak, and to tone and to hum. Humming is very good for the heart. Singing is very good for the heart. And so, yes, I sing in the shower, don't we all? Our expectation is that people are going to be upset and that they're going to be confused and they're going to be anxious. And so the best thing we can do for our loved ones is to listen and to listen patiently and to parrot back what people are saying to us and allow them to hear what they have said. This parroting back is a way to facilitate others in dealing with their expectations, because our expectations at this point are quite negative. Okay, in communicating with the neighborhood, I happen to live in a neighborhood that is multicultural. Many of the people who are between me and the local little store where I get a dozen eggs if I need it or a quart of milk don't speak English, and I don't even recognize the language they do speak. But they all respond to a smile, to a how do you do, okay? And it's a good idea in the neighborhood to be known as someone who's friendly and tolerant and accepting. And so that is what I try to portray by the way I dress and the way I respond to people. Now, my health, of course, is in question. Anybody at my age, late 70s, has got health issues. And those are the issues that I deal with in my meditations and in my prayer life how do I deal with this and that, and I get answers. Okay, I'm still going, honey. I'm like the Energizer Bunny. I'm still going because my prayers get answered, and that has been an outcome that I never expected as a young person, to be able to remain healthy and functional without the aid of drugs, okay? Without the quote aid of the medical profession who makes their money on visits and procedures and prescriptions and tests and stuff, okay? I'm pretty much staying away from them because the way they've tried to help me has caused me more problems than the problems I had in the first place. All right? So we take care of our health by checking online to see what information is available from the allopath community, from the American Medical Association and the web doctors and so on. However, in the past, I was a student of reflexology, and I've been to chiropractors my whole life, and I have a couple of good herbal books, and herbs help a lot, and they're much less expensive. And so I'm a person who keeps going, utilizing alternative methods of keeping going and not the official medical system. On social media, I've been on social media, my goodness, probably, oh, let's see, I was on a buzz at the New York Times beginning in 2001. So I've been on social media for 20 years. At ATS, above top secret, I couldn't stay on there. I wasn't tactful enough to stay on there, so I left there a long time ago and never went back. I was on Crows for about 10 years. I've been on Facebook for 11 years, Twitter for 11 years, and what I find that works is to not get personal. I don't give any personal information, and I don't ask for any personal information. If someone sends me an email and says, "How are you doing?" Okay, in quotes, all right, I know already that that person has been schooled and scripted to say that. And I already know that they are a professional. And so I'm very careful in my responses to not portray or give out any personal information, but I'm perfectly willing to discuss issues with them. So my first comment to someone who comes at me with, "How are you doing?" is, "Oh, do you and I have a common interest? Is that why you're contacting me about a common interest?" And generally, that is enough to get them to leave. Okay, all right. Family are more difficult, extended family, cousins and in-laws, extended family, because everybody knows different facts, and we are also possessive of the facts that we think we know, right? Okay. And so everybody's feelings are on tenterhooks. And so tact is of the utmost importance with family. And if in your family there is a narcissist or two, and I've been accused of that, of having such a strong opinion about things that others interpret what I'm saying as a form of bullying, what I have been able to utilize is the videos on YouTube that specifically talk about the problems of bullying and learning how to disarm the specific problems that people have with bullying. All right. And that's how it goes in the neighborhood. So what I find, because I'm online just about all the time. I'm either working on more books, or I'm working on more videos, or I'm back and forth between my groups. Facebook kicked me off the Emily Elizabeth Windsor Craig group when I said something to their support line that they didn't like. Their support line is not helpful. Their support line does not tell the truth, does not respond, does not reply. And so, I've been at odds with Facebook for a long time. Although I have many pages, many interest groups, and pages that are thriving, that have to be maintained and monitored. And the reason I do that, I figure it's my way of contributing information that is necessary for people who want to know stuff to know. All right. So I move human trafficking articles into my human trafficking group. I move articles about England and the monarchy and what's going on in English politics to my English monarchy group. I have an origins going back group where I place the Anunnaki and Sumerian and Egyptian archaeology. I have a departed martyrs group, which I haven't been able to return to moderating yet, but I'm hoping to be able to do that. There's a friend helping me to get my groups back that Emily Elizabeth page was responsible for. There's a Be Here Now group, which is essentially about health also, and a biological health biology group, and a religion versus spirituality group, and a God and Truth Are United group. And these groups are on single topics. What I found out when I was at a buzz at the New York Times and at Above Top Secret, what disturbs moderators more than anything else and gets people banned and punished is going off topic from the topic of a posting. If you post a topic about A, but the comment is about B, it's not relevant to the topic, you're very likely to be scrutinized and possibly banned for it. So we have to keep our topics on the pages where they belong, on the most popular pages where they belong, all right, and keep all personal agendas out of the posting. Quite often, I post without comment articles that have already been accepted somewhere else. I post a lot of Twitter articles on Facebook and Facebook stuff on Twitter. I go back and forth between the different modalities. because an article that's accepted one place will probably be accepted another. I'm not having trouble with YouTube at the present time, but who knows? All right. So, in order to put a pillow where I might fall, I'm now looking at the YouTube place for videos. Vimeo, I have discovered, is just as restrictive and suppressive as Facebook and some people would say as YouTube. They are following the same World Health Organization false guidelines and false information for the current epidemic that the rest of the social media are following. So you've got to pay attention to who's posting what where and keep it all straight. I use my own two websites only as a resource place for articles that I want to refer to offline. Okay, I have a couple of my books on PDF files at Holy Conservancy. The Moon Book is there, and Civil Life in Galactic History is there. And I think I'm going to put up Diversity and the Will of God there too, because it has to do with the concept of community. You know, we're having a problem with community because where we live is not a community. Where we live is a diverse group of people thrown together who have no connections, neither ideological or educational or nothing in common. We're not in the same business. We in this apartment complex have nothing in common. And so what is one of the things that's happening right now with the press for reset, the press for Armageddon and apocalypse, is that religious communities are becoming very becoming active again. There are many new postulants in convents and monasteries, and the family communities. And we know that they would be the Quakers and the Amish and the Hutterites and the Mennonites and the 12 tribes and the Bruderhof. Those family communities are growing right now due to the problem of instability in the larger society. All right. So that's one of the movements I'm looking at, and where you can find out more about that is in a communities magazine that Patch Adams used to publish. I don't know if he still does. So those are my ideas for those of you, my friends from long time, who are single women like myself. And I hope these little ideas and tidbits and tips and bibs and bobs will make some sense to you, and they'll be helpful. And if so, let me know. I'd appreciate knowing whether they're helpful or not. And we'll hold each other in prayer, and we're going to get through this one way or another. I have been praying about getting through the end of the world for about 50 years, and I think I'm going to do it. Are you going to do it? Let's do it. Let's get through the end of the Madison Avenue corporatist, commercialist system. Let's move on to something else. How about that idea? All right. Hope you like it. I'll see you later.